before we start this session, the word excellence award in terms of facility management is inspiring me a lot. We have transformed our journey from administration into a facility management. Many of us within this room have started our, job as an admin manager or as, admin assistant. Over a period of time, we have transferred into the facility management. There has been lot of paradigm shift into this administration role. And in last few years, admin, which people used to see as a back-end function, has gradually moved to a strategic location. COVID has really proved that, what facility management can do. Probably nobody in the organization can do that. So we are all unsung heroes. So at least, please give a big round of applause to yourself. You are the unsung heroes. An organization cannot function unless we have the right facility management in place. So that is all about the facility management. And while we talk about sustainability, the role of facility manager has gone into manifold. We talk about travel, we talk about procurement, we talk about ESG, we talk about sustainability. While COVID has taught us multiple things, and one of the important things which it taught us is about respect the Mother Earth, care for it. We have seen the way global warming is impacting the entire globe. The monsoon has still yet to reach Mumbai, and apparently the employee well-being always stands paramount for all of us. With ESG coming into picture and lot of emphasis on sustainability, the role of facility manager is becoming more critical. So if I have to talk about sustainability, sustainability is not only about environment. It is all about managing people. It is all about managing well-being of an employee. And when we talk about sustainability, it is ensuring that, when we manage the built environment, we need to ensure that, as a facility manager, we take care of maximum, protection to ensure that, the operations that we run are environmental friendly. As per the World Economic Forum, the commercial building consumes across the globe 40% of energy. And it's a really high time for us to ensure that we look into this aspect. 1975 World Health Organization have raised an alarm of sick building syndrome. And that's how today COVID has taught us how indoor air quality matters for, employee well-being. So there are a lot of things, which relates to sustainability, employee well-being, managing the resources in an efficient way. And without wasting much of time, we have got eminent panel members here. I will start my first question to Shweta. So Shweta, as we are seeing there is massive development all across happening. We are moving from tier 2, 3, 4, 5 cities all across. The development is massive. And as it expands, the demand of more sustainable and eco-friendly construction material has become paramount, because now it is not only, the thought process of the developer, but it is a demand of the buyer, because they would like to see the facility which is more sustainable. So now when we talk about that, the traditional method and materials of the past are giving away, at the end of the day, and new generations of innovative and green solutions are coming into picture. So I would like to have your say to this.
So first of all, thank you so much for having me here. And I think the sustainable is the buzzword these days. Everybody talks about sustenance and sustainable development and, So what exactly does sustainable construction materials that, the host is talking about? Actually, sustainable material of construction basically means, the keywords. First is conserve or conservation, what we call. So under conservation, if I talk about, during construction, the important thing is that we prevent wastefulness, So the first thing is you may use precast instead of, the usual or traditional ways of building walls. Then we come to, use of reuse or recycle. For example, whenever there is a new building which is coming up, so in case it is a brownfield project, we tend to demolish the old factories or demolish, the old buildings, and then we reconstruct the new ones. So again, reusing that concrete For example, we have a project in our organization, where we are building up a new factory, wherein the old structure had to be demolished. We ensured that the concrete is crushed. It is again used for backfilling. It is mixed with, cement, and wherever it is used appropriately. So such type of measures actually give a new way. Use of, broken glasses. So if you see these days, the glass can be mixed with concrete, and it gives tremendous strength. Reduction of use of timber. Instead of that, bamboos are now being considered because, it has tremendous strength and it grows faster than the other trees. All right. So I think such type of measures. Then the other aspect which comes is protection of the nature. So, while construction, how I can ensure that the nature, I create a non-toxic environment for our people. So that thing is very, very important. And last but not the least, high quality. So whatever we do, we use sustainable measures, but high quality of construction is very, very important so that we improve on the life cycle of our facilities. So I think this is what I would like to say on this topic.
Thank you so much, Shweta. So coming back to you, Samir, I cited that World Economic Forum has, given an indication that energy consume almost 40%. The commercial building consume almost 40% of the electricity, which means it is almost leading to 37% of, CO2 emission. So now, being a facility head, how you feel that, sustainable measures can improve in reducing the, energy conservation, and what are the, new remedies that can be brought into picture, wherein we can, reduce the carbon emission by bringing the sustainable mechanism.
Yeah, thanks first of all for having me here, and good question. So I would actually look at the broader perspective and just not limit the discussion to the energy, because energy consumption can be done in a multiple way. It can be a fuel, it can be a utilities to which we, how we run our offices, and and the corporate culture. So let's start with an energy. I mean, first of all, if you, some of us actually were driven down here, or I hardly believe anybody would have come from metro or rail for that matter, at least for this event. But we started actually this journey with the very small measures. People have spoken about, or maybe the reporters, or the community who's actually supporting these initiatives have spoken about using maybe an ethanol in old days, like because the fossil fuels are actually limited. It will deplete over the period of time and ages. And these days, fast forward, because we don't have that much time, and people are talking about EV. So what we are doing as an organization, I would say, and many of us are, I'm sure, doing it in different stage, actually encouraging, first of all, our, diverting our fleets, from regular fuel to a green energy. These days, we are encouraging and even paying an extra mile or extra bucks for having e-vehicles. Secondly, we are encouraging our staffs to go for a EV lease model and giving some kind of discounts on those things, so that there is some kind of an encouragement and giving back to the community and leaving something back for our future generations. In order to actually cover for the last miles, we are also adding into an efforts and investments to go for building selections, whether we are through a lease model or a construction model, because we both do both. To at least tie up with the developers or our self-investments to invest in e-charging points, so that at least when the staffs are commuting, they should not have any kind of disconvenience. Or to the next level, I would say, even when we are in the offices, like how our meals are actually get the produce. Old days, like we always had these commercials, either the cylinders, or I hardly believe government allows natural pipe gas there, which is not the case. But we have migrated all our large offices or small offices from the normal gas-based cooking to the induction-based cooking. Even investing, maybe the solar panels. So these are all different, types of avenues which actually helps back conserving the energy And that's why it's a long answer for, for a small question, but it is important to look at it. Because when we look at 360 degree around us, I'm sure there are different solutions. Not every organization, even if it is willing to invest and have a right intent, can actually do it. Maybe because of the limitations. There are certain limitations when we actually look through this. Thank you.
So coming back to you again on your answer, when you look for a facility, maybe you look for a commercial building. So do you have certain checkpoints to ensure that the criteria of sustainability are fulfilled? Because at the end of the day, there are a lot of developers who claim that then a building is sustainable, but then when you really go into evaluation, you find that that is an eyewash. At the end of the day, like whether it is IGBC rating or ASSOCHAM, rated by ASSOCHAM JM or something of that sort. So you prefer kind of some criteria to ensure that you really end up getting a sustainable building, or on what kind of thought process you have when you go for any property hunt?
Sure. Before I directly jump onto the the solution of the checklist, which is pretty straightforward, but currently representing a Dutch company who are actually which is very straightforward. Dutch is basically nothing but the Netherlanders. The company believes actually not in the certification. Okay, we had a huge debate when I joined, and I said, okay, we want to actually go for a LEED certification building, etc., etc. And they said, hey, first of all, tell us, is it a tick box, or is it? Are we going to do something to actually see a last mile? That hey, where are your solar panels actually manufactured, and not just because it is cheap you are sourcing it. Where is the cement is actually coming from? Where are the some of the carpets and the furnitures are actually built? So when we looked through that, and I had to do some unlearning, not that previously when I worked had actually a different way. Of course, somewhat it is there, but it's been 5 years, so I can proudly say that I'm associated with an organization which looks into that things into a granularity. When we actually did do the selection, not just the building, but other materials also. But let me address your first question without forgetting. So we have a due diligence process. Okay, when we look for the building, we first of all we see actually where the building is located, who are the developers, what is their credentials, what kind of a sustainable material they actually source, and is it certified by some authority and not just by some reports by the architects or some consultants. And beyond that, I will link it. I mean, not just the building, but also where it is located. Is it easy for commute, for the staffs and all those things? Because it's all, it's a circular economy. How long people takes to commute to the office back and forth? Are they consuming a fuel to come to the point? Is there any sufficient parking space, which is a big problem these days? And so it is important that, okay, there has to be a good, the logistic which is available, so that I will feel that the building is actually sustainable and not just because of the building material.
Okay. Coming to you, Tushar, like we spoke about, the building material itself per se. We are starting right from scratch, the construction, the workplace, and maintenance, 3 part. So now there is a lot of awareness among the corporates that, adopting certain sustainability is paramount for most of them. Either many do under the governance as a part of ESG, and some do as a voluntary. But then, sustainability in some way or other is being adopted by most of the organization in a portion. But coming to the sustainability part, while it comes with a lot of benefit, we have seen it really saves cost and add values, enhance the investors' perception as well as the employees' motivation as well. But apparently what happens, while it comes with benefit, it also comes with a lot of challenges. And what is your say when you see those challenges?
Well, I would say that sustainability is a very broad concept. So we all talk about the positives of sustainability. However, looking at a broader picture, if I were to name a few challenges that I would like to list here is, there are 3 broad challenges that I foresee. The first one is that the initial investment in sustainable projects is very, very large. So for a mid-sized company to invest in sustainability, it is a challenge in India, because we all know that we work in a cost-conscious economy. So for example, if you use green cement for construction, or you use, say, an aerogel infusion technology at the time of construction of the building, your cost will go up by 20x if you use the standard material. So that is the kind of investment that is required while building sustainable buildings from scratch. So the second point, when it comes to challenges, I would foresee is that there are very limited number of resources available who build such products. So as an example, even though India is the second largest producer of cement in the world, the sustainable cement or the green cement, we contribute only 2% to the overall global economy. And out of that, 1.9% is exported. So that gives you a reflection of how averse we are to adopting sustainable measures when it comes to our own economy. Also, the last and the foremost thing is knowledge. So who justifies what is sustainable? We do not have any legislation or law that says that this is what accounts for sustainability. There are these, as you said, there are these rating agencies which do ESG ratings, right? All these are global rating agencies. And they too are not governed by any laws. So there is no agency or regulatory authority that governs what an ESG rating agency is supposed to do and what accounts as sustainability. So that's a very, very important aspect that I would like to emphasize upon, specifically in our industry. So if I'm a very good salesperson, I'll ribbon wrap a beautiful proposal to you saying that, your company, I will reduce the carbon credits by 50,000 points. And I would be able to sell it across to 70% of you. So that is very important because the knowledge about this subject is very limited. And it resonates with the medical field. So like in India, if you go to a doctor and he prescribes you a medicine, you will go to the counter and purchase that medicine, not knowing whether that medicine is fit for you, not fit for you, or there are other brands of medicine available. Similarly, sustainability also lacks that knowledge, and that I foresee as a challenge in our economy when it comes to adopting it.
So as an organization, what you feel the right mechanism your organization is doing to inculcate that idea about sustainability, because your people are managing the built environment, and for them to understand sustainability in depth is very important because they manage the environment, secondly they manage the client. So what kind of methodology used to ensure that your people are well versed with what sustainability is all about?
So when you talk about sustainability, I believe sustainability is different for different industries. If you are a manufacturing setup, your sustainable goals will be different. If you are a corporate, your sustainability goals will be different. So we serve a plethora of industries across India, wherein whenever we start on a sustainability project with them, we always emphasize on starting right from the scratch of building that blueprint of sustainability. So once you've developed that blueprint, the FM companies can be inculcated in that process, because we are the ones, the FM companies are the ones who, actually drive this sustainability. And in today's era, everything that we do is measurable and quantifiable. So from a FM standpoint, I would say they play a vital role when it comes to the adoption of sustainability solutions for different sort of industries, different form of industries. And that is an important aspect while we deliver our services across the globe.
Well said. So coming to you, Shweta, while we speak about sustainability, circular economy is much talked about. One of the principle of circular economy is to eliminate the wastages. What is your thought process when we talk about circular economy?
Okay, thank you for the question. So, first of all, just to cheer up the audience, I want to give a Modi ji ka jumla so that you all don't forget, what circular economy is all about, especially when, you relate it to facility management. So 7 R's basically, okay? So reduce, reuse and recycle is what, everybody is aware of. But when we talk, in terms of our construction or, facilities or premises, I think it's more important. First thing is, redesign, supporting or promoting eco-design. So, I'll describe, I think most of you are aware of these terms, but still, I would like to explain them later. So first is redesign. Second is repair. Third is renew. And fourth is recover. So when I talk about redesign, or promoting an eco design, so whenever we have the designs or the layouts for our facilities, I think we must ensure that how much we are conserving the nature or energy efficiency and decarbonization, and so all these things are very, very important. Then when we talk about repair, so I think the word is, so whatever we can repair and we can reuse. So in our organization, if I talk about, whenever there is a new building or a new factory which is coming up, we always look around pan-India. It's not only, within the city itself. We look around pan-India, that because it always happens that, one office closes, the other one opens up, or maybe, you are expanding your facilities. So we always look around that, how we can reuse, maybe, the AC system or UPS, batteries, etc., etc. So whatever, we can reuse if they have not lived their life, rather than just throwing it away or scrapping it away. So I think this is what we actually focus upon. Or we also try to repair stuff, in case, unless, these days you would have heard that even mobile phones and other things. So previously, companies were not promoting such type of things. But now, if you go to their centers, you will realize that these aspects are being encouraged upon. All right. And then talking about recover. So definitely, whatever we can recover from our demolition process, so rather than just bringing a bulldozer and breaking a whole facility, what we do is we try to recover whatever, like for example, we have, because Siemens is a very old organization, so we have quite sturdy and old use of, timber and other stuff. So what we do is we try to, and which if you see, currently it is still in a very good shape. So we try to recover it, modernize it, and then reuse in our facility, giving it a different angle or a different type of feel within our premises. So I think this is what I understand about circular economy, so that, you not only extract, build, or, product and then just throw away, you again get into that cycle of reusing it and reducing the wastage is what I understand. So sustainability, if you talk, because I am from the environment, health and safety community, sustainability for me is nothing but decarbonization and resource efficiency. So this is what we focus upon. And I think that leads to, or that contributes too much towards the circular economy.
So now when an infrastructure is designed, I'm talking about the workplace, I'm not talking about the entire envelope per se. So when a workplace is designed, I would want you to recommend at least 3 best practices which the FM should follow while they work on the design element with the architects. 3 strong points.
Okay, so first is use of natural light. So if you see our designs, like North Light, if you see, you get a good, so that you achieve energy efficiency. So during the designs, I think that is what is very, very important. The next aspect that comes to my mind is basically, the layouts. So the layouts wherein your material, whatever is being used, it is, you try to make use of material which is like suppliers. Actually, you encourage the suppliers which are actually using a recycled or, products, so which are available in the market. And then the third thing which comes to my mind is, while designing a facility is reduction in waste, which I feel.
And I just want to add here to what Shweta said. When you talk about building, the infrastructure space, when you talk about, refurbishing, when you talk about recycling, there is an antidote that is there to sustainability, and it is predominantly followed in India. So in our terms, we call it jugaad, if you know. So jugaad is a term wherein we rebadge and reuse a lot of stuff which has already expired its tenure. So that is somewhere, so if you use, organic cement, or say a glass panel is broken, you don't go back to the OEM. Why? Because you know that the cost of getting that repaired, or if you've not taken an AMC contract with them, the cost will be very high. and that is detrimental to the overall sustainability of the project. So that is an element that has to be eradicated from the dictionary if you want to truly go the sustainable way.
Well said, Tushar. So coming to you, Samir, while most of the organizations are really working towards attaining the net zero, but then as we say that sustainability is something which comes with the cost and a lot of creativity when it comes to the design element. So where do you see the competency of today's the vendors or the service partner or the architects, whether they have really reached that position wherein you are confident that they are able to deliver that quality, wherein you are convinced, yes, what is coming to me is really a very sustainable design, or at the same time when it comes to you, you are ready to adapt it because it is a very sensitive and cost sensitive thing. So how you see the the corporates looking at it, whether we are ready to spend and adapt sustainability, or we are going to just do a checkbox as a part of ESG. So what is the mindset today you see of most of the corporates?
So as an occupier and a corporate citizen, I would actually break down into a 4-part. But first of all, let me say, a lot has been done in last 5 to 10 years as compared to maybe a 10 to 15 or 20 years back. Okay, and I'll prove it. So if you look at, first of all, there is a good amount of awareness. Okay, not only the government are actually talking about it, the corporate citizens are actually talking about. There are a lot of research papers which has been put to what we need to do to give back to the society and be a responsible corporates when we occupy fancy buildings and spend shareholders' money. So there is a big change which has actually happened on that front. The second one is actually supply chain. It's a very good point you actually mentioned, and it's about initiatives of actually some of the industry innovators as well as government initiative, Make in India initiative. Because in old days when we used to sit back and make an investment plans and think about how we can actually get some green energy or make sustainable initiatives, it used to be always get shot down because of the negative business case. Okay, but today I'm happy that same kind of not the amount of investment, but same business case. If you were to actually propose some initiative, we look that there is a lot of competitive, the supply chain and the suppliers who have actually come and mushroom actually in India, and we don't have to necessarily depend on the the imports. Okay, when we sit and make our business case and make a project charters, we try to give an emphasis that we will avoid as much import possible. And even if it is the global brands, we will give the first preference in case if you have a manufacturing plant in India. Okay, so without compromising on the aesthetics and look and feel. So that's the second one. The third is actually the corporate commitment. Okay, maybe because of the global summits which typically happens, and all corporates runs to make actually the pledge and the commitment that okay, we want to go towards the the carbon neutralization. So our organization also actually actually gone for that. We had actually committed the carbon neutral to be carbon neutral by 2030. Only to realize that the way we have actually making the efforts without even commitment, having a commitment, we actually had to actually revisit our, the commitment and actually commit to 2025 instead of 2030, to say that 70% of the energy we'll use it through a, renewable energy. And I'm proud to say that we met that target in 2023 itself. So we are again looking back what exactly we need to do, and not just achieve some goals because it looks good on the board, it looks good on the the annual reports which we publish. So I feel everything what I said just now as the steps is important. Everyone has to make an effort. Last but not the least, I agree to the point of Tushar. Yeah, there are certain areas where the investments are still remains to be heavy. We need to think about it. But if we have the right mindset, okay, that what is that we are trying to achieve, maybe me as a head of real estate, and when we discuss with our CFOs or our, the entity heads, I would first tell them that, hey, maybe I'm ready to compromise toward the aesthetics, what people don't understand. If I'm sitting on a chair which costs maybe 20,000, I'm ready to put an investment of 10,000 or 15, but I'll allocate the other money towards the sustainability, because it all goes hands in hand, okay? Because everybody says that, okay, we need to leave back something for the next generations, and unless we actually act upon it today, it's not going to happen. Gone are the days when we used to talk about that global warming will happen and nobody knew that when it happened, but today we are actually living with it. So same thing will happen after 10 years and 20 years. If we don't act now, we are not going to be there. So let's act immediately. Okay, that's what I will say.
So Shweta, everybody is now very keen of acting towards the sustainability goal. So we all know that sustainable products are definitely not as reasonable as other products are. So now to enhance the efficiency of your sourcing, the collaboration and the supply chain has to be very robust to integrate the sustainable goals. So what you feel, how that supply chain can be made very robust to ensure that your costs are optimized. What kind of mechanism you feel needs to be brought into practice?
Yeah, so I think supply chain is the key. See, the first and foremost, I do understand that yes, sustainable products or things are actually a little above, or maybe you can call it costly. But if actually we talk about cost, the cost that the nature is paying actually gets reduced. So in my view, it gets neutralized. But yes, it becomes a burden for the organization. However, I feel because this is a very niche field now and a new thing which is coming up, gradually actually sustainability is not only about doing big things. It can be small steps that we take. For example, what is coming to my mind currently is that whenever we source material, right? So like for example, reuse of plastic. So if I promote or whenever I do a contract with my supplier, I tell the supplier upfront that the packaging you have to take it back. You cannot leave it in my premises, all right? So now what is happening is that packaging is of use or it can be reused by the supplier. And nowadays, organizations are actually, the suppliers are actually, they are also becoming sensitive towards the environment. And companies like us, definitely we deal with a little higher level of suppliers, and they have their own environmental and sustainability targets. So it becomes easier for them also to, achieve their goals. So it is a win-win situation. So similarly, use of like, for example, tissue papers, right? So rather than using a paper-based or a plant-based paper, we use paper which is made by recycled sugar cane, all right? So sourcing is very, very important. So as facility managers, because you guys or we all have, better idea in the market, it is important to research or, start with small aspects and encourage those suppliers. And I'm sure, once everyone comes together, gradually it will definitely become a win-win, or it will also gain momentum, and then the cost automatically gradually comes up. So that is what comes to my mind.
But you see that we still have a long way to go.
Absolutely, that is.
So Shweta, again coming to you, Siemens does a lot of greenfield and brownfield projects.
Yeah.
Apparently they are quite massive in size, and we talk about energy conservation. Energy is one of the biggest part which everybody would like to attack because it is tangible, it is measurable, and you can understand the amount of saving you have done. And apparently what is the your internal policy to ensure that you get carbon credit while you build any infrastructure?
This is a fantastic topic. In fact, Siemens is pioneering. We have our own product also, which I'll just explain. So Siemens has a target of zero carb, by 2030, and we are working towards it. I think we have achieved a lot. That is what I can say. We ourselves, Siemens has a product by which you can remotely monitor the energy. So if you see, we have a centralized system which is based in our unit here in Mumbai itself, in Kalwa factory. So wherein we have energy meters, we have, we are going towards water meters also. So which even globally, that energy metering and, the metering for water. So this will be done from our own, factory, which is here in Kalwa. So we are not only conserving, see the first part of conservation is monitoring and understanding where there is wastage. And then coming to a plan wherein, you can plan for energy conservation by adopting various measures like putting solar. So we are renewable energy, like we are installing solar panels. If you see all our factories, so we have solar panels all across. So this particular aspect of monitoring, which is very, very difficult in today's world, so that product has been developed by Siemens. It is available in the market. And, there are organizations who have approached Siemens to actually buy that product. Actually, it is a full management system. What should I say? It is a, monitoring system which is centralized here. So we have our own energy meters, again, water meters, which we have installed all across. We are measuring, what energy is being utilized for our premises and how we can actually go ahead and, take measures so that we can reduce use of energy. So it sounds very simple, but it's not that easy, that system is available. I think that product is available with Siemens. And
But this you are talking about when it comes to use of thermal energy.
no, not thermal, electrical energy.
That's
So
what I'm
we have
saying. It is,
electricity meters. So electricity is used for everything. Like
no, so the source is thermal. It is not a sustainable grid which supplies the power.
so solar. So we are going for solar panels for generating our own. Actually, the solar energy is what goes to the grid, and you balance out with MSEB
Okay.
or electricity boards.
Okay.
So we have solar energy generated within our premises, and that energy is being utilized. So we are also going towards, actually we want to become energy positive, wherein we generate more and use less. That is the ultimate goal that we are moving towards. So, but the first thing is, that is what I'm trying to say, that at a central location, you are monitoring and then you are understanding. Like for example, in a factory, if I see that the energy usage is very, very high, then it makes sense to put a solar this thing, or you go for a renewable energy source, So first thing is you understand that what is the quantum which is used, and then gradually you plan out that what projects will actually help us in usage of more renewable energy than from thermal energy or thermal power plant, or from the grid we are utilizing.
Okay.
So
So coming to you, Tushar, I have a similar question for you and Samir. You being from the service provider side and Samir from the occupier side. So now when we talk about building a infrastructure or a workplace which is sustainable, but what about managing the operations in a sustainable way?
Okay, so when you talk about managing infrastructure, so I would say FM companies are the ones who are actually managing it from scratch. So right from the development phase to your net zero goal, your primary driver or your primary vehicle is an FM company. So we do everything. So as we know that we've entered into an era of technology, and everything that we do is data driven. So you've got these, as Shweta said, that we've got these sensor-based technology solutions available, which is amalgamated with AI, and they give real-time inputs on the data consumption, the energy consumption, the water consumption, the space occupancy planning, etc. So all these, when put together in a nutshell, give you real-time savings. So the mindset has now changed, for an FM company to be considered as a peripheral function to a strategic function, because it can give you long-term savings. And that is, I think, one of the key drivers that an organization, whenever it is choosing its FM partner, needs to understand what capability and what portfolio of services does that firm bring across. Because that is a long-term partnership that will yield results. And I say this because we've partnered with multiple firms, right from the aviation sector to managing airports to manufacturing plants in tier 3 cities. Everybody has a different aspect of managing their infrastructure and sustainability. And that is where this change element is brought in by the diverse knowledge of FM partners.
So coming to you, Samir, I have seen many organizations while they onboard FM partners, they see the L1 has to be onboarded, irrespective of whatever the cost. And we all know, when we talk about the cost, there are a lot of elements involved, including the quality, because everything comes with the money, and the more you spend, the better you get. So what is your organization's view or your personal view, as a, fraternity member, that when we have to onboard an agency, what should be the mindset of a corporate to ensure that the sustainable goals are achieved and you have a right partner who understands the sustainability?
So definitely finance is actually a very important part when it comes to actually you have to pay. When you want to receive, everybody wants more. But your question is how do we select, do the selection of the vendor partners? Obviously when sustainability is actually ingrained and you call it as a DNA, it becomes always a challenge. But when we go through an RFP process and discuss with our partners, we definitely put an emphasis on what extra miles you are ready to go to make sure that the materials you are sourcing are actually sustainable. You do what you say and not just a tick box just to win the contracts, and demonstrate it and how you actually going to track it. Just like Shweta mentioned about monitoring. So we do go to the steps to actually see that where they're providing the service, how the monitoring is actually done, when the materials are actually sourced and handed over to the ground people, okay, actually it's the same material, and how those regular audits are actually happening, surprise audits are happening. We do engage our own health and safety team to make sure that they regularly visits and understand what kind of an efforts are actually doing, and periodically we try to actually see the curve that okay, is it really making a difference in what we are trying to achieve. Maybe it's an energy consumptions or the facility consumables that we are actually using. It's adding back to the environment, and it's making an impact. So each and every single component is actually goes through a rigorous process to achieve that results. And then in that case, we do not necessarily look at the cost factor as it has to be L1.
Okay, so now we have a time's up, but then I will ask you a last question to Tushar and you. So it is not about onboarding a facility management company. You both have justified your role. So you on your place, you as a service provider and a corporate also depend on multiple vendors. Like you have your air conditioners, your UPS, your DG system, and so on and so forth. At the same time, you have multiple partners working with you. So sustainability is one of the component of ESG. And sustainability is beyond green. So what other parameters you observe when you look at onboarding a vendor apart from environment friendly? What are the other criteria you look into?
I pitch for these things. So I would say when a company is choosing a partner, there are three things that they look at. One, in our kind of a setup, we're a capital intensive economy. So the ability to grow. So if you have got say 10 premises today and you want to expand to 30, you need to have a vendor partner who has the size and scale to grow financially with you. So he has to have the financial muscle in place, which will ensure that your growth and their growth both are correlated. The second is the technology aspect, I would say. The technology is a very key driver. So there are firms which outsource their technology function as a vendor. There are some who have their in-house technology platform. So the latter one, if you choose one, you will be able to customize your solutions according to your needs. So that's point number 2. Point number 3, and a very important aspect, is compliance. So whenever you are onboarding a vendor partner, now compliance is of paramount. Everything is transparent, and everything is digital now. So whenever you are onboarding a partner, he should be 100% compliant in all aspects. And there's a due diligence that happens on part of all the organizations before they onboard them. So that is the third paramount part. I think these 3 pillars are the key aspects when we pitch for a client, and this is what we as a vendor partner try to showcase what we got.
So Samir, your point of view on this?
Yeah, just to add on what Tushar said, because he touched upon quite a few points, but maybe one of them is actually the vision and the commitment. If the organization actually, the visions and the occupier's vision actually match with each other and not just a tick box. The second one is actually we look for an open book and open audit kind of a concept. So both the partners, buyer and the finance community or the finance controller sit with real estate finance controller together day in, day out in the same office, and we have a regular engagements and open book concepts that whatever they are actually, procuring is actually, it's actually transparently shared with us to understand what they have committed and what they have sourced is the same.
Thank you for your answer. So do we have a time to take some questions or we have to take offline? Okay. Thank you, Shweta, Samir and Tushar for your wonderful insight. I really enjoyed it. I'm sure the audience would have enjoyed. Please give a big round of applause to the team here.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Dr.
Thank you.
Sarkar and everybody for your patient hearing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.